Honorable members, I have to inform that a supplementary list of business has been issued by the Secretariat listing 1. The Salaries and Allowance of Ministers Amendment Bill 2020, and 2nd, a statement by Minister of Health and Family Welfare regarding COVID-19 pandemic and the steps taken by the Government of India. The supplementary list has been uploaded on the Rajya Sabha website and the Honorable Members portal. Thank you. Shri Harshvardhan Singh Dungarpur. Shri GVL Narasimha, sorry. GVL Narasimha first. His name has been given first. Shri GVL Narasimha Rao. Shri GVL Narasimha Rao.
Sir, I am in the Lok Sabha gallery.
From Lok Sabha gallery?
Yes.
Right, please speak on this.
Sir, Lok Sabha chamber. Thank you, Deputy Chairman, sir. Under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, in the last 6 years, the civil aviation sector has undergone a transformational positive change. Let me explain how. In just a period of 5 years, the total air passenger traffic has more than doubled. It has increased by 118%, registering a double-digit growth for most of the years, rather every year. While if you compare this with the previous 5 years tenure, the increase was only 54%. So we have more than double the growth in terms of passenger traffic. I'm mentioning these facts because these are all important to the provisions of the present bill, because the government has ambitious plans for the expansion of the civil aviation sector, and this bill certainly has provisions to ensure that we have affordable, safe, and accessible aviation for the people of our country. We are today, in the world, we are the 3rd largest domestic aviation market in the world. And international passengers, we are 4th or 5th largest. It keeps varying, but we are certainly one of the largest civil aviation markets in the world. And we are the fastest growing civil aviation sector. We have the fastest growing civil aviation sector in the world. And that certainly speaks volumes. As I mentioned, the growth has more than doubled, and it certainly is contributing. It's helping people of our country to travel right across the country, even to remotest parts of the country where access was not available earlier. According to the World Economic Forum Travel and Tourism Rankings, we were ranked 65th in the world in 2013. And in 2019, our rank has climbed to 34. From 65, we have improved to the rank of 34, and that was possible only because under the tenure of this government, under Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji's leadership, both travel and tourism sectors have shown a huge improvement and a promise. The objective of the Honorable Prime Minister is to make air travel affordable, safer, accessible, comfortable, pleasurable, and not just to only the privileged few of the country, but to make it accessible to every section of our society. And therefore, this bill is in the right direction to amend the 1934, the Aircraft Act, with the vision of the Prime Minister to increase, to have a huge expansion of the traffic, to enhance the airport network and infrastructure, to streamline regulatory functions of various bodies, and to enhance security while fulfilling international obligations. Let me go back a few years to tell you about the legislative history. In 1934, the act that we are seeking to amend today is the 1934 Act, which was amended several times. And the last time it was amended was in 2008, and prior to that in 2004. As I mentioned, this sector has seen a transformational change, and therefore there is a need to amend this act now. One, I talked about the huge expansion, huge increase in the air passenger traffic. mainly a result of the initiatives of this government. And Honorable Prime Minister made air travel possible for every common man of this country. Udan, Uday Desh ke Aam Nagarik, let the common man fly. Today you can fly under the Udan scheme. 279 routes are operational, which is connecting 50 unserved and underserved airports. I think this is a major transformational change. And today, I can tell you, I have traveled on some of these sectors by paying a mere 800 rupees on the Vijayawada-Kadapa sector. It's 800. Today, you can book the ticket for 1,500 rupees. I checked up today also. So this is the kind of what it costs you to travel by a third AC or by a deluxe bus. Today, you're able to travel by air and reducing the time, and making it much more comfortable and pleasurable. And the government has the target of developing 100 more airports in the next 5 years by the year 2024. And under the Udan scheme, nearly 5 million people have traveled so far. To be precise, 48 lakh people traveled on this Udan regional connectivity scheme, where, as I mentioned, 15 airports, underserved or unserved airports have been covered. And there is a new, under Udan, 78 routes have just been announced, and this will cover even the remotest parts of the northeastern region, which needs much more connectivity than any other part of the country. Let me now talk about how the COVID has impacted us, impacted the aviation sector, and how we have been able to work wonders even during such a crisis period. As Honorable Prime Minister says, we have converted this crisis into an opportunity. The domestic flights suspended operations on the March 25.
Please don't speak, please.
And then they commenced operations again on May 25. And today we are operating, this is as of 11th September, we operated 1,117 domestic flights. This is a big number. And we are almost more than 50% of our usual number of people are traveling on the aviation, on the airlines today. Certainly this is being increased steadily, keeping the safety of the passengers in mind and also keeping the needs of the passengers in mind. And the impact, globally, corona pandemic, the COVID has impacted the aviation sector, and likewise we have also been impacted. But what we have done during this period will remain historic, and my salutations to the Honorable Prime Minister for launching the Vande Bharat mission, under which we have brought a huge number of 12.4 lakh passengers. We brought 12.4 lakh Indians wanting to return to India. We have brought them back on on about 4,000 odd flights, of which 2,500 flights were operated by Air India Group alone. This is the biggest evacuation exercise in human history. And certainly this is something that the government needs to be, Honorable Prime Minister needs to be congratulated for this humongous and for this splendid effort. Air India itself operated flights to about 72 destinations in 53 countries of the world. We all are passing through very troubling times, difficult times, but what the government has done, what the civil aviation sector has done is something splendid. I'd like to compliment the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Civil Aviation Minister, Honorable Minister for External Affairs for making such a massive and a splendid effort possible. And we currently have arrangements with different countries of the world because the international regular commercial flights are not in operation. So we have signed what are called air bubbles. Sydney, we have signed agreements with several countries, including the US, UK, UAE, Maldives, Germany, France, etc., Canada, to really operate flights on a mutually reciprocally agreed manner. What is even more important, in our fight against the COVID, aviation sector played a huge effort, made a huge contribution. What was called Lifeline Udan was launched on the March 26th, day after the imposition of the lockdown across the country. Under Lifeline Udan, 584 flights were operated, and by by Air India, Alliance Air, by private airlines till the 28th of May, from March 26th to 28th of May. And 317 of these 584 were operated by Air India Group, and they carried a huge quantum of supplies, approximately 935 tons of cargo, covering lifeline, covering taking medicines, taking the PPE kits, the N95 masks, even the testing kits were supplied to the entire country in a record period by using Lifeline Udan as a new scheme. And the massive increase in infrastructure, airport infrastructure, you can see over the past few years. We have 109 operational airports, but along with the state government and other airports, that number of operational airports goes up to 125. And we have the number of aircrafts that we currently have. Honorable Minister mentioned in his opening remarks, we currently have about 770, but that number could go up to 1,200. All this reflects the massive increase and massive expansion of the aviation sector in our country. About 13,000 crores to develop 12 airports have come in the form of a private investment under the PPP mode. Whatever the opposition might say, the real crony capitalism was witnessed during the tenure of the previous governments. The country has seen how the 2G licenses, how the coal mine licenses were granted to people for a song, and what the considerations were, and how the courts dealt with those particular
Please.
is a matter of
you are very senior member, sir. Please.
And that cannot be ignored. Under this government, there is a transparent regime. There is a transparent way of auctioning every particular resource. There is also a very credible and transparent method of...
You speak when your terms come, please. Please.
Prime Minister also has the vision to turn India into a global hub of civil aviation. So under this, we have the MRO operations, maintenance, repair, and operations. And India will become now a hub of these activities. To make that happen, the taxation system, the taxation regime has been rationalized. Under the new policy, major engine manufacturers of the world will be able to set up engine repair facilities in India. A lot of money which is going by way of foreign exchange, because a lot of our aircrafts go to countries, including places like Singapore, Malaysia, and elsewhere for their operations and maintenance. Today, India will become a global hub. We will not only save huge foreign exchange, at least 1,000, 2,000 crores, and we will also be creating a number of job opportunities for our industry, for our youth in this country.
Mr. Rao, please conclude. Please conclude now.
I'll just take about, okay, reduction in flying costs. The new policy announced by the government is going to make available under Atmanirbhar Bharat. Finance Minister has announced that our airspace will be available freely. Only 60% of the airspace is available till now, but now this will be, more space will be available to lower the cost of operation for the airlines. I think we are also preparing our aviation sector. We are also preparing our manpower for not only accessing this increasing civil aviation jobs.
Mr. Rao, please conclude now. Please conclude.
Country as well. So, sir, I would like to, I'd like to support this bill. This will make our expansion plans easier. This will help us realize the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister to ensure that India explores, India achieves the set target of making civil aviation, making air travel available to every individual in this country. With these remarks, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity, and I would like to support the bill and seek the support of the entire House for the bill.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rao. Thank you. Now, under